Welcome back to On a Roll with Kerwin Brown. And today I have Eugenio Alvarez, who is VP Global Maintenance and Engineering for Grupo Bimbo. So welcome, Eugenio.
Thank you very much.
It's great having you here. So I like to start these with a little either or, and knowing where you grew up, I got to ask a soccer question or a football question. You can play with anybody you would ever want to. Who is that?
I will go with Ronaldinho.
Oh, and maybe a little Messi if he's not available, or
yeah, Messi, absolutely. Anytime.
Anytime if he's not available.
Magic in their feet.
So, couple of either or questions. Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Sweets or snack?
Snack.
Conchas or churros?
Oh, that's a hard one, but I'll go with conchas.
Okay, and favorite baked good?
I'll go with, well, I love gancitos, the frozen gancitos. I don't know if, you do.
No, I don't really.
Oh, really? Those are good. Yeah. It's like a pancake.
Pancake.
With, filled with jelly and chocolate on top.
Right, and you heat them up, or?
No, it's like, well, no, you typically eat them as they go, but I like to freeze them.
Right.
And they taste even better. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think I have to try those. So we're going to snack just a second. Takis are certainly a crazy phenomenon. It'd be a great case study to learn about how they were created, and then kind of their global footprint and the impact on young kids. Like middle schooler, you said your youngest
she
loves them. So we're going to try one. I'm pretty much a rookie on Takis, so let's try a chile limon and see what those are like. So give us 2 or 3 sentences about Taki and the maybe craziness of Taki.
Sorry.
You said they're kind of the perfect Mexico or snack.
So for me, Takis is really a Mexican snack because it's tortilla based. Sorry.
No, I know.
So, I mean, it's tortilla. It's a nixtamalized tortilla, but a tortilla roll, and it has this spicy, and it has a lot of flavors, different flavors.
Crazy enough flavors.
Yeah, and for some reason, the crispiness that it has,
right,
and of course the flavor, it's really unique.
Very unique.
It's really good.
I don't think I've ever had one.
Yeah, no.
And so I know I've not been on the, and then these are fuego, so they're fire.
Yep.
So this is making me a little nervous, but we're going to try. We're going to try one. I won't rub my eyes after this or anything. Wow.
Yeah.
Are you going to try fuego one?
Well, I'll try it.
You got to go with me.
Now we have cheese. If you don't like a lot of the chili,
right?
So we also have cheese.
How many flavors do you think you guys are making?
I have no idea how many, but every time more, and we're even we want to display all the flavors, and like a taquiceria, that will be amazing, like showing all the variety, and we see them everywhere we go. Sometimes even places where we don't sell them directly, the
people are buying them and selling them somewhere else.
Exactly. So it's a great boom, and we see that especially with the kids, they love it.
They love it.
It's really that unique flavor intensity,
right?
That brings the momentum, right?
No.
And it's like you want to try one, and then you keep.
You can put them down. So, like on the podcast, I like to talk a little bit about path to baking. You've been working for about 20 years professionally, 10 years with P&G, 10 years with Mondelez, and now in the baking. So, tell me just a little bit kind of about the path, and then why baking.
Yeah. So the path was interesting because I started when I was studying. I started working as an intern in P&G. So it was a lot of learning about engineering, and I will say very precise recipe, precise product generation and product development. And then I moved into Mondelez to learn a lot about cookie business.
Right.
And we were actually trying to reduce the scientific or the feeling of it. And trying to make it like, okay, you know the amount of water you have to put into the recipe depending on different parameters.
Right.
Used to be like somebody touching the dough and based on feeling adjusting it. We try to make it more scientific again, more deterministic. You know, if you change these conditions, what you're gonna get. But then I moved into bread. And for me, bread is really a living thing. It's because you have a lot of changes in the flour or the yeast and different conditions that really you don't control in the raw materials. And it develops very different. Also the environment, the humidity, a lot of things change the way bread it's developed or baked. So that's really something I love on changing from something that you know you're going to have good quality, but the precise, the still artisanal touch in the bread. That's something that I love really.
Well, and again, your job is global. So even if you're trying to make the same product, this part of the globe versus this part of the globe versus this part of the globe has to change dramatically because, again, the flours are a little different or the ingredients a little different. So talk about maybe the challenges of that global scope of Bimbo. And you guys are growing in, India and some other places. So again, that global scope has to be really challenging.
Yeah, and I will add another impact. Not everybody likes exactly the same kind of bread or the same. So we do have a lot of local products. I will say also, of course, raw materials change and everything's a little different. Even equipment manufacturers for us is different. We have a lot of variety. So it's really something that you adjust in every line, in every product. And every product, I would even say it's different. Even that we try to keep it, of course, consistent. If you want our Bimbo bread, you know what you're gonna get. But in every country, it's a little special, I would say.
You talked a little bit about mechatronics, right? And how does that relate to kind of what that is, and then maybe how it relates to your global maintenance and engineering responsibilities?
So, I studied mechatronic engineering. I was telling you the story. I actually started being a mechanical engineer, and then they opened for the first generation. I was already in second or third semester, and they opened mechatronics. And some of us said, like, hey, we also want to do that. So they actually opened mechatronics for us that were a little ahead. In the college, and I was the first generation of mechatronics. Mechatronics, it's a combination between mechanical, electronics and informations. So you can imagine a lot of robotics. So at the end, a robot, it's an electric motor with a mechanical mechanism. But what it makes it great is the software part. Because you can do a lot of things with the same hardware, I will say. So that's pretty much the explanation of mechatronics. So I love engineering. All my career has been in engineering. And the way I see, I use it in my day to day, of course, we are into the industrial bread making, and of course we rely a lot of machines. And for me, we have to understand the machines, we have to understand the product, and the process is really what it's unique, as I was saying, the different conditions that change. In my global role and in my specific career, I deal with a lot of investments. And every time we see more automation, and you can imagine, like in the car, the car, the automobile industry, it used to be mechanic. Now you don't want to touch it because it's very complex. Well, the same is happening in the industry. And for me, it's a unique thing because I get to introduce new technologies, try new technologies. The example of robotics comes ahead into, hey, how do we automate? How do we make things faster, more robust, more precise? And then my dual role of engineering and maintenance. By the way, I have done engineering all my life. Now with Bimbo, the last year and a half, I started also being responsible in maintenance. And for me, it's a really interesting combination because we maintain the day-to-day business with maintenance, of course, making sure that everything lasts, the assets last longer. And I also get the engineering part where we design new things and we like focus in the future of the company. So I have that combination, the day-to-day and of course the future of it. And maintenance is also very interesting because it's really a discipline. It's something that if you do really well, you do see the difference in the way even the product comes out of the door. So big role.
It's funny because it sounds like you got to have your feet in both sides. You got to have sort of in the past and legacy, and you've got some plants that are running very old, legacy equipment, and then you've got this, and then a lot of plants probably have a nice combination.
Exactly, and you put a new line in an old factory.
So that seems very challenging. Like to sort of tell like a funny or whatever story. So you maybe something that's somewhere in your career that you've done something that's funny, challenging, or whatever. So
I love projects, and most of my life were installing new lines or new installations. And I love that. I love the installation phase, the startup phase.
Right.
When it's not a car, so it's not like you just turn it on and you know it's gonna get. You have to test many things.
Right.
A lot of I/O checking and testing. Right. So we move from dry commissioning, where you run everything, let's say, without product.
Right.
And then we move into wet commissioning. The wet commissioning part it's something I love because you go step by step. And I was telling you, one time when we had to test a mixer and we didn't have the ingredient handling or the automatic, product, or ingredient, dosing. So we're dosing it by hand. And you can imagine a 2-ton dough, dosing by hand and then running and, okay, are we ready? Yeah, we were all dusty.
Completely dusty. Yeah.
It's a lot of work for some trials. And then we put the science of, okay, how do we know the mixer is ready? And you can imagine, well, you see it's mixing. Well, we put some science into it. And that was really, really interesting.
So you went home and you slept well those evenings.
Absolutely.
When you're like
enough.
cutting, lots of bags and
there were new operators.
Right.
So we had to teach them, hey, this is what keeping your area clean means.
Right.
And I was cleaning by myself, right? So it was like, oh, the engineer, what are you doing? Well, we're creating a team. We're creating the culture of the place. And that was very interesting.
Oh, that's awesome. I saw on your resume that you talked about there's a leadership course you taught. And again, Mondelez, those are big companies. These are all global companies, and leadership and mentoring is a part of so much of what they do.
Yeah.
So something either in that course or something that you've learned over the years that a leadership that's kind of one of your foundations that you kind of like would like to share.
Yeah. So I took different trainings, by the way, P&G, Mondelez, and Bimbo, great teaching schools and leadership schools. Yeah. For me, what I'm taking as a very powerful thing is everybody wants to be great. So it's a specific phrase, but when you're in a situation and probably somebody's not in a good day, but okay, how do I help him do his best? And it's really a coaching advice. How do we develop ourselves? Right. I don't like to, for example, some people is like, no, that person is never going to be a plant manager, for example. Right. I never see people like that.
Right.
Everybody, we want to develop them to get where they want to go, which it's different for every person. And for me, being positive, that positive aspect, instead of looking at the bad things that somebody doesn't know how to do,
right?
Well, what does he or she knows how to do and develop it? Right. And there was a training that I loved in P&G, and I saw it in different aspects in Mondelez and P&G, but it was and Bimbo, and it was corporate athlete. So you have to develop yourself in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual energies, energy management. That was very inspiring because you do have unlimited energy when you think about the spiritual. Right. What will you do for something that's really core, driving your life? I will say, but you have to build it from the bottom up, from the physical energy, emotional, mental, and spiritual. That way of seeing life, that way of training myself to be the best I can be. Right. That's really something. And I typically share that training and that experience because it unleashes your power of positive energy.
Well, and I think it really doesn't matter what culture or city or country or whatever it is. That's something that is a human thing. It just translates across all of them. So again, you can just plug that in if you're in another country, another, whatever. Yep. I love that.
Let me give you a little bit more on that.
Okay.
Everybody knows to train the muscle. Right. You have to do repetitions and energy. So you have to stress the muscle. But if you stress it too much, you're going to break it. Right. So there's a point when you stress it and then you have to let it rest. Right. It's the same with the emotional, mental, and spiritual. Oh, okay. And I love these events, by the way. Let me connect to that. Because there's times where you rest and you are recovering and then you're in your peak performance in some other points. And that logic, it's really something you have to learn to rest the body or the mental and the spirit and emotions to be in your positive side as much as possible. Right.
No, that's great. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for the time, and again, the energy and everything else. And I love that positive, that is amazing what we can do with just a little encouragement, a little positive with those folks. So, well, thank you for your time. It's been another episode of On a Roll, and we'll see you next time.